So what do you get when you mix a Mississippi poet, a generative music app, and a $3 million record deal? You get an AR R&B star named Xania Monet. And we're going to talk about that next and how the future of music is all messed up on this episode of It's Culture. Let's get it.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no.
Welcome back to It's Culture Podcast, where I talk about everything from sports to politics, entertainment, trending topics, sometimes tech. Why? Because I think it's all part of the culture. And if you're new to this channel, if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can get all the updates. That's how I keep the lights on and keep bringing this content to you. So it's some weird stuff going on in tech right now. And today we're going to be talking about this story about Xania Monet, the woman who's behind her, and why you got people like Jermaine Dupri and SZA and K Michelle all side-eyeing this. I guess you want to say this AI-driven artistry. So if you could grab your headphones, maybe a notebook, and let's get to it. So I think it's important that we first, find out, like, who is Xania Monet, right? Well, she isn't human, that's for sure. Not in the sense that you think she is, but she is an R&B singer, though, and not just any R&B singer. Xania is actually the first AI artist to crack the Billboard's radio airplay charts. Now, that's a picture of her right there. She had this song called How Was I Supposed to Know? And the person behind the song is this woman right here. Her name is Telisha Nikki Jones. She's a 31-year-old poet from Mississippi who says she's not a singer, but she was writing poems from age 24 and onward. And she did an interview with Gayle King, in which she used the music app called Sono. And it's been, if you've been on social media, Sono has been getting a lot of ad play. You got a lot of people that's been talking about this app, where you could just basically load up some lyrics or some words, give it an inspiring theme, select the tempo, the vocals, the drums, and then some R&B vibes, and then it's gonna generate you a song. And that's what this lady did, right? She fed her poems. She changed the iteration of them dozens or hundreds of times, and then ultimately, she got this song. And then the result was, the AI avatar that looks like the R&B star on paper. And because of this song, she signed a $3 million record deal with this label called Hardwood Media. And she charting. Now, back to the artist. This is Xania Monet right here. Now, like I said, Jones says that she looks at Xania like she's a real person. That she's an extension of her. So with that intro, I just let's move into this ripple effects, right? Like because there's some hype behind it, and it's a lot of pushback because. Is this if this is actual innovation, y'all, or do y'all think this is disruption? Now, the upside to all of this, right, is maybe there's a new era promising, right? Let's start with the good stuff, because there is some good stuff. I guess you could look at it from an accessibility standpoint. Like Telisha Jones said, she wasn't a trained vocalist. She was a poet. She's a creative person. She just leveraged the AI to bring her words into a musical vehicle. It's a new sound. It's genre blended. The tracks sound like a '90s R&B vibe, familiar, soulful, but it's produced with a cutting edge way. It sounds refreshing. Um, and then sorry about that. You had some labels in the charts responding. Because Xania charted it and got a contract deal. There's some major players behind this now. There's some major players that are paying attention to this. And because Jones, she didn't frame this like the AI is like the new instrument. It's not a cheat code, right? She still had to put in some work. Like she really had to, she still had to feed it, had to do the iterations, all that stuff to get it to where it became a song. But when you create a song like this and you not the artist that's singing it, and this sounds oh so familiar to some things that happened back in the 90s with some lip singers, it's going to be a lot of pushback. Now, why some artists and the culture watchers are skeptical? Because while there is some upside, there is some natural critique. Now, Jermaine Dupri has entered the chat, y'all. And Jermaine Dupri, he looked back at the Milli Vanilli situation and they scandal. Now, for those of you all who may be younger and don't know who Milli Vanilli was, they were a duo that won a Grammy for Best New Artist back in 1990. But they got their Grammy stripped because they didn't actually sing none of the songs on the album. They had the song called Girl, You Know It's True. But they lip synced the whole thing. They couldn't sing at all. But they just had a look. And so Jermaine Dupri, he came out and said, years ago, the industry found out that Milli Vanilli weren't the voices. They got their Grammy stripped. Right? I'm paraphrasing what he said. And then he said, now we're getting ready to accept people who can't even sing creating songs for a fake person. How's this even different? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say ouch, but how is this even different? Because he's asking, is the authenticity being lost in this? What about the singer-songwriters, right? Who spent years in the studio, vocal coaches, small gigs, just to pay the bills and dream big. Because you had artists like Kalani and SZA and K. Michelle weigh in too. Kalani said nothing and no one on earth will ever justify AI to me. And I agree with that. So the concerns, does an AI artist success sideline human artists? I say it does. What about the live experiences, the cultural authenticity? Because we already know when it comes to this black woman being a poet, I mean, I guess you could say she's a poet because she created it. Okay. But what if it wasn't that, right? Now, what if it wasn't a black woman? What if this was some white guy who decided he wanted to make him a black AI artist? We saw that with the rap game. There was an AI artist that Gunna did a song with that came out, and they found out the guy was white and he was using the N-word, and they ain't like that. So what happens when you have a white guy that's doing this? How does in a traditional sense, how does a virtual artist tour? How do you build fan engagement when your artist isn't human? I mean, are you going to be doing like a virtual reality concert where you like show it online or something and the person just sings? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Because let's tie this Milli Vanilli story to this Xania Monet. All right. Because this possibly, that might be a pivot. And the Milli Vanilli comparison, was it accidental? Think about that. A duo back in the 90s get stripped of the highest honor because they weren't really the voices. And now we got AI artists raising authenticity questions the same way, just on another dimension. Not just did you sing it, right? We're not even asking that question no more. Is the mic on? We asking, are you even human? And in this digital age, this streaming age, we seriously got to start questioning this because, I mean, what if somebody does it in blackface? What if they have some AI avatar in front of them and they act like this? But here's the nuance though, because Xania lyrics come from a human life, right? They come from a lived experience, some lived pain and a story. Because like I said, she had to feed the AI her creative, right? It still is her work in a sense. I mean, the voice and the vocals aren't, right. That came from an algorithm. But I mean, let's go back. Let's look at this picture again. The avatar looks like an R&B star, but again, no human breathing. I mean, can't do no live performances. I mean, at least not so far. I mean, so is this evolution or disruption? Is this evolution or is this disruption? Now, for a creative like Jones, like Telisha Jones, right? Who this is empowerment, right? It gives her an opportunity to be able to take what she's been writing, feed it to an engine, get it to spit out some words to kind of put her stuff into musical form. But for veteran artists in the culture, this is an existential threat. This is a threat to our culture. And if you just a listener, you're not part of the culture, this should be a wake-up call. Because if an R&B artist can be AI driven, what's next? What is absolute next? This artist is charting on the billboards. So what is next? What is next? What does this mean for creators? The culture. I mean, all right, so what do you take away from all of this? For creators, tools like AI may let you, words take different form, but the skill still matters. It has to matter. For the culture, this is the definition of an artist still in the, being a culture vulture. I mean, is this kind of like a remake? Because the fact that a black woman created Xania matters. I think so, that it was created by a black woman, but what happens when that is not the case anymore? And then for us as, people who like to listen to music, be aware, because the music you might be hearing might be coming from some surprising sources. And with all this bot movement and the lawsuits with Drake and Kendrick about using bots, doesn't this automatically reduce the meaning to charting? And it kind of make you seem like what are we valuing really? Do we value listening to real pure artists and their artistry? Or we just like the beat, the hook, and the words? I honestly don't know where we go from here. I honestly don't. Because this story about Xania and Telisha Jones is not just about a footnote about, charting AR star, right? This is a front row seat to know how our music, the culture, and technology are going to start colliding, and they're colliding right now. The fact that Jermaine Dupri looking at it and saying, hold up, pause. You got people like SZA, Kalani, K. Michelle, they're saying pause. When they're speaking out like this, that doesn't mean that this is small, y'all. This is something very, very foundational. And if we're not careful, everything that we love, everything that makes us who we are, is going to be artificially destroyed and taken away from us, because they're going to be able to do it faster, better, and take all of the soul out of it. They're going to get it to market real quick. And they're going to flood it. Because if they can make an AI artist, then that means they don't have to pay an artist. So that's more money in their pockets as the record labels. Y'all think about that for a moment. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'll be curious to know what y'all think about this AI artist stuff. Do y'all think that this is an infringement? Does this the like part of that first wave of the AI taking over? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, Culture Nation, let's keep it culture.